All right, Shalom. This is Brother Gabar of the Lions Den Camp located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And first and foremost, before I hop into this lesson, I'm going to give all praises to the Most High and His Son in their true Hebrew names and in the Hebrew tongue. So call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rukwah, Quadash, Amah. Double honors to the apostles and elders. And Shalom to you, brothers and sisters, pushing and keeping this truth and faith and in sincerity until the end, man. All right. Now, this lesson is stemming from a conversation I had with one of my family members, who I was relaying this truth to, and we was going into various topics, but somehow we ended up speaking in tongues, all right? And it was basically stating that the speaking in tongues that they do in these churches, which is utter foolishness, is the same speaking in tongues that these scriptures are talking about and relaying to. You know what I'm saying? I related like a couple scriptures, but they still couldn't get it. So I went to the elder of the camp, and relayed the ordeal with him. He gave me some insight and some scriptures to bring out and suggested I do a lesson on it. So this is what this lesson is going to be going into, man. Speaking in tongues and how the tongues that they speak in this church is literally just foolishness, man. All right. I'm starting with the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, starting at verse 27. And it reads, "If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at the most by three, and that by course, and let one interpret it. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silent in the church, and let him speak to himself and God." All right. So if any man speak in an unknown language or unknown tongue, like they do in these churches, man, speaking in tongues, they're not even saying nothing, man. They're just uttering sounds, man. All right. And it says, let there be two or three to interpret, man. And these pastors in these church, these ministers, these deacons, whoever, they cannot interpret those people speaking in tongues, man. I guarantee you, you can ask them, like, if you ever hear one of them speaking in tongues, ask them to tell you what they just said, man. And they would not be able to tell you. All right, because it's foolishness, man. They are speaking nothing, man. All right. And I'm getting verse 28. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silent in the church, man. And let him speak to himself and to God, man. All right. So since there is no interpreter, they should keep silent with those tongues, man. So-called speaking in tongues. Because they cannot be interpreted. No one understands what you are saying, man. You speaking in tongues, praying over people, you can be casting spells, man. All right, you know what I'm saying? Or anything else. Because they're not speaking anything. It's just foolishness, man. They're just uttering sounds. All right. And this is book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 4. And it reads, "He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church," man. All right. And that's crazy because them speaking in tongues, that's for themselves, man. So they can have a sense of exalted spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I caught the Holy Ghost. I'm speaking in tongues now. All right, that's something that they do for themselves, man. All right, that's not for the church because nobody understands what you are saying. No one understands what that is. All right. And then also, he that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church. All right. And the real brothers, speaking in tongues per se are the brothers and sisters, the brothers, and the prophets out here teaching this word, man, prophesying. All right, we are edifying the church, which is the body of people, man. You know what I'm saying? Those that have an ear to listen. All right, we are truly edifying, man. What we're doing is not for ourselves, but for Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. All right. Let me get one more precept. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6. Book of Matthew, chapter 6, starting at verse 6. And it reads, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly," man. All right, and that's the complete opposite of what these pastors and ministers and deacons do in this church, man. They don't pray in secret or in private. They do it boastfully in front of the whole church, man, having prayer calls, you know what I'm saying, having a whole congregation witness their higher sense of spirituality per se, man. All right, you know what I'm saying, they do it boastfully, man. directly the opposite of what the scripture just stated, man. They don't do it in private. They don't do it in secret. You know what I'm saying? They like doing it in the open, man, so they can feel exalted in a sense by the congregation, man. People be yearning to get up there and have them lay hands on them, man, and for them to pray on them, not knowing that they praying to a false god, speaking in tongues, not saying nothing, just utter foolishness. All right. And in verse 7, but when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for they much speaking. All right, and that's what they use, man, those vain repetitions, man, speaking in tongues. They be saying the same thing over and over again, uttering those same sounds over and over again, man. All right, those vain repetitions as the heathen do, man. All right, and that's literally exactly what they do, man, be saying the same thing over and over, the same sounds, and, yeah, those same sounds just over and over again, man, making it sound like something special or something spiritual or something ordained by the Most High. When you know it's not, because they're not even calling on the right name, you know what I'm saying? Calling on Jesus or Jesus Christ, man, not Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. All right? You know what I'm saying? I just want to do a quick lesson on that, man. Because the speaking in tongues that they do in these churches is not what these scriptures is talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures tell you that the Most High does not dwell in temples made by hands, roughly paraphrasing, man. The Most High is not in these churches, man. He is not ordaining them to speak these tongues. All right? And with that, I'm going to say shalom.